Have you ever looked at someone you love and felt that something had changed, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it? Maybe your mother seems a little smaller than she used to be. Maybe your husband has started sleeping more than normal. Maybe a friend who was once full of energy now sits quietly for long stretches of time. You notice these little things, but then you tell yourself it's probably just part of getting older. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it's something more. One of the hardest truths about aging is that the body rarely changes overnight. Most of the time, it whispers before it shouts. It sends small, quiet signals that are easy to overlook, and many families don't realize what those signals meant until much later, when they wish they had paid closer attention. If you've ever had that uneasy feeling that time seems to be moving faster than you'd like, this conversation is for you. Today, we're going to talk about 5 changes that often happen as people grow older, changes that families frequently notice only after they've become impossible to ignore. Let's begin. Number 1, weight loss that happens without trying. At first, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Maybe a belt needs to be tightened by one more notch. Maybe a favorite sweater suddenly hangs a little looser. Maybe dinner plates start coming back to the kitchen with food still on them. These things can seem so small that they're easy to dismiss. But when someone keeps losing weight without trying, the body may be telling us something important. As we age, the body doesn't process food the same way it once did. The systems that turn food into energy may gradually slow down. And losing muscle isn't just about becoming thinner. It can affect strength, balance, energy levels, and even the immune system. As family members, our first instinct is often to say, "You need to eat more." But sometimes the answer isn't simply bigger meals. Sometimes what our loved one needs most is our attention. They need us to notice, to ask gentle questions, to understand that their body may be going through changes they didn't choose and may not fully understand themselves. Number 2, extreme tiredness that doesn't fix. We've all had days when we're tired, but this is different. This is the kind of exhaustion that doesn't disappear after a good night's sleep. It's when someone who used to enjoy gardening no longer has the energy to step outside. It's when a person who loved cooking now sits quietly in the kitchen because even preparing a simple meal feels overwhelming. As family members, one of the kindest things we can do is stop measuring our loved one's day by how much they accomplished. Instead, ask yourself, how are they feeling today? Are they comfortable? Do they seem peaceful? Sometimes the greatest gift we can give someone who is growing older isn't encouragement to do more. It's permission to rest. Sit with them. Share a quiet moment together. Let comfort become more important than productivity. Changes in memory and pulling away from others. This may be one of the hardest things to witness. Usually, it doesn't begin with anything dramatic. A name is forgotten. Someone suddenly looks confused in the middle of a familiar conversation. At first, you might smile and think, we all do that sometimes. But over time, these moments may happen more often. Then something else begins to happen. The person who once brought life to every family gathering starts becoming quieter. They stop calling as much. They sit alone more often. They don't seem interested in joining conversations. We wonder, are they upset with me? Have they lost interest in the family? Most of the time, that's not what's happening. Their mind may simply be processing the world differently now. Social interactions that once felt effortless can become exhausting and confusing. Many families try to fix it. They correct forgotten details, they push for more conversation, they encourage their loved one to be more involved. But often what helps most isn't fixing, it's simply being there. Sit beside them, speak softly. Sometimes your presence alone says everything they need to hear. Number 4, infections that keep returning, and wounds that heal slowly. When we're younger, the body is remarkably resilient, but aging changes that. Little by little, the body's ability to repair itself begins to slow down. A bruise lasts longer, a scrape remains tender for weeks. In older adults, infections don't always look the way we expect. They seem more confused than usual. They don't feel like eating. They appear more tired and withdrawn. Because these changes happen quietly, they're easy to miss. But if you begin seeing a pattern, repeated infections, slow healing, and a body that seems to struggle with things it once handled easily, it's worth paying attention. It doesn't necessarily mean something terrible is happening, but it does mean the body needs more care, more gentleness, and more support than it once did. Number 5. Changes in breathing and circulation. Some of the clearest signs of advanced aging appear in the way someone breathes. You may notice their breathing becoming shallower. Maybe it's slower than before. Maybe there are pauses that make you instinctively look up and wonder if everything is okay. Sometimes the breathing becomes rapid for a short period and then suddenly very quiet. These changes are not usually something that needs to be corrected. More than anything, they need to be understood. And understanding changes everything. Because once we understand what's happening, we stop fighting every change and start focusing on something even more important: comfort, presence, love. These are the 5 changes that aging bodies often show long before families feel ready to see them. What you can do is show up with open eyes, a gentle presence, and a heart that's willing to be present for whatever comes next. If this video helped you feel a little less alone in what you're facing, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more conversations that help you navigate life's most important seasons with clarity and grace. Thank you for being here today. Take good care of yourself and of the people you love.